Hello guys, if you visited the net or rather media right away, you'll be in shock that Gen Zs did all they did. People shouted around, but now the government has had a big win because the Supreme Court has declared Financial Act 2023 constitutional. Now here are the things that are going to be maintained. I'm going to show you that, so just look at this before we proceed. Alright, so because I can't show clearly, I'll read to you. The journey back to the Finance Act 2023 is that the Supreme Court has lifted Court of Appeal findings, if you can remember what they were all about. And it's now indicated that the Parliament conducted adequate public participation on the Finance Act. It is also said that the cross appeals have been dismissed. You remember there were so many cross appeals from Omtata and others. Then we have some sections which have been found unconstitutional though, like Section 76 and Section 78 of amending the Kenyan Proceeds Act 1999, Section 87 of amending unclaimed financial assets, that is 2011. So get down to this and find details about that. So that's it from KTN News just some minutes ago. President signing that after the declaration that it's constitutional. Right? So it's a big win for the government, of course. So what is expected after this declaration? Now we had Martha Koome, Kitains, Esther Diana, with many more rulings happening. You can see the president is quite happy as some of the senators are still arguing. So that is Kenya for us. Yeah, look at him, so happy. Now if you know, you know. So what does this mean for Kenyans anyway? Meanwhile, on the case in court on stopping Kindiki from being sworn in, the court says they don't have jurisdiction to force Kindiki to impeach himself. In case he's sworn in, then it will be. We always say if you don't get it, then forget about it. This is a drum that has been hit so much, and if the drumming doesn't stop, it's gonna break on us. So we're gonna focus on other stuff and forget about this. So my question is, do you understand what it means now that the court has declared the Financial Act 2023 constitutional, with only two aspects being considered unconstitutional? Why the act was considered unconstitutional, and then there was a case in court by if you can actually recall, it was a court of Okoit and 6 other versus the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Planning, and 3 others, that is the Commissioner General, Kenya Revenue Authority, and 3 others, of course. So it was raised in the High Court, and in brief, the issues that were in question were whether the finance bill was a money bill in terms of Article 114 of the Constitution, whether the estimates of revenue and estimates of expenditure that were included in the appropriation bill were part of the budget making process, whether the estimates of revenue and estimates of expenditure were included in the Appropriation Act in accordance to the Constitution and Public Finance, whether the finance was a bill that concerned counties as such required to be tabled before the Senate, whether the lack of concurrence of the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate as regarding whether the bill concerned counties so as to be tabled before the Senate ousted jurisdiction of the High Court in the interrogate such concurrence, whether the failure by the Speaker of the National Assembly to seek concurrence from the Speaker of the Senate prior to introduction of the Finance Bill to the National Assembly vitiated the resultant Finance Act, whether the term Parliament used in Article 2092 and 2093C of the Constitution referred to both houses of Parliament, whether the National Assembly undertook adequate public participation in matters to do with the public finance, whether Section 84 of the Finance Act 2023 was introduced, that introduced the housing levy, that is limited the labor rights without justification, and also lacked backing from legal framework, and many others. So you've heard what you've heard. Now it is upon us to check into what consequence this will be. It might mean that more tax and maybe upholding of the levies that we were almost feeling we were going to be freed of. So we will have more discussion on this.